Hey, welcome back. Really glad you're here.
Yeah, welcome. This is English Conversation Podcast. I am Mike.
And I am Sarah. We don't take it lightly, actually. You chose to spend some time with us, and we genuinely appreciate that.
And if you're listening in English and this isn't your first language, that's something. Like you're working your brain in two directions at once.
Exactly. Just the act of listening, not even studying, just listening, is one of the best things you can do for your language learning. Your brain is absorbing a lot more than you think.
Even if you miss half the words.
Especially then, honestly.
So we hope today feels like a real conversation, not a lesson. Just two people talking about something worth talking about.
And today's topic, well, it snuck up on us, actually. Mike had a thing happen last night.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll definitely get to that. Before we get into today's conversation, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, in the comments, tell us something small, like a tiny change you've noticed in your English lately. Maybe you understood a joke, or you finally got a phrasal verb that always confused you.
Or even just, where are you listening from right now? Are you on a walk, on your commute, in your kitchen?
I always love reading those. Someone once wrote, listening in my car in a parking lot because I needed 5 more minutes before going inside.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's real.
So just drop a line. We read everything. Okay, Mike, last night.
Last night. Right. So I had this plan. I was going to sleep by 10:30. I had it in my calendar. 10:30, lights out.
You
Put it in your calendar.
calendar.
I put it in my calendar with a little moon emoji.
Okay.
And then at, I don't know, 11:15, I'm deep into this YouTube video about the history of escalator.
The history of escalators.
Completely riveting. I don't know how I got there. I started watching something about cities and then architecture and then suddenly escalators. And they watched 3 videos,
3.
40 minutes on escalators at midnight.
And this morning you told me you were going to sleep earlier this week.
This was day 2 of the plan.
Day 2.
I know. But honestly, it made me think about something. Because I wanted to sleep, I genuinely wanted to, I just didn't.
And that's kind of the whole thing, isn't it? We usually know what we should do, we're just not doing it.
Right, and that's not a knowledge problem.
No, it's something else entirely. So here's something that used to bother me about how people talk about healthy habits. It's always about information. Drink more water, get 8 hours of sleep, move your body.
Everyone knows this.
Everyone knows this. Nobody's failing because they didn't know vegetables are good for them.
Right. So if information isn't the problem, what is?
I think it's identity. Like, who do you think you are? Not in a dramatic way, just do you see yourself as someone who sleeps early, or do you see yourself as someone who tries to sleep early and fails?
That's a different thing.
Very different, because habits that become part of who we are, they stick in a completely different way than habits that feel like tasks on a list.
Like the difference between I'm trying to go to the gym and I'm someone who exercises.
Exactly. One of those is an action, the other is an identity.
I don't think I've ever identified as a person who sleeps at a reasonable hour.
Clearly.
I think I genuinely see myself as a night person, which maybe that's the problem.
Maybe, and this is where the word intentional fits into this.
Intentional, like on purpose.
On purpose, yes, but also deliberate, chosen. When something's intentional, you're not just doing it because it's habit or because someone told you to. You're doing it because you decided it matters to you.
So not, I should sleep earlier, but I'm intentionally choosing to protect my sleep because I care how I feel tomorrow.
Right, that's a different relationship with a habit.
It's like the difference between dragging yourself to a family dinner and actually wanting to be there.
That's a perfect way to put it. Same action, completely different internal experience.
And I think a lot of us have never sat down and asked, what habits do I actually want to have? Not what habits should I have? What do I want?
And even deeper, what kind of person do I want to be? Because the habit is almost a side effect of answering that question.
I'd never thought about it that way.
I had a moment a few years ago. I was trying to run again for probably the fourth or fifth time. And someone asked me, "Do you actually like running?"
Right.
And I realized, no, I really don't. I was doing it because I thought I should be a person who runs.
What did you do instead?
I started walking. Long, slow, aimless walks, and I never needed to force it because it was actually me.
So the habit matched the person.
The habit matched the person.
Okay, so I want to push back on something slightly because I think sometimes we talk about identity and it sounds a bit like, well, if you just wanted it enough, you'd do it. And I don't think that's the full picture.
No, that's a really fair point.
Like last night, my phone was on my nightstand. The YouTube app was literally one tap away. That's not a willpower problem. That's a setup problem.
Environment is so underrated in this conversation.
People blame themselves so fast. I have no discipline. But if you put a bowl of candy on your desk, you will eat the candy. That's not a character flaw.
It's just proximity.
Exactly. What's nearby wins. And most people's environments are kind of working against them without them realizing it.
And this is where I'd use the word detrimental. Something that is detrimental is harmful. It works against you. Your phone on the pillow is detrimental to good sleep. Not because you're weak, because it's there.
Detrimental. Right, as in keeping snacks on the counter is detrimental to eating less of them.
Exactly. The solution isn't try harder. The solution is move the snacks.
This was actually a turning point for me with exercise. I kept saying I'd go to the gym in the morning, and I never did. Then someone told me, put your gym clothes next to your bed the night before. That's it.
And
I went more. Not every day, but more. Because the friction was lower.
friction. That's a good word for it. When something requires a lot of steps or there are obstacles in the way, we're less likely to do it.
And the reverse is also true. Make the unhealthy habit harder to reach and you do it less.
I deleted a social media app from my phone once. Just moved it to a folder on my laptop instead.
That extra 30 seconds of effort?
Enough. Enough to make me ask, do I actually want to look at this right now? And usually the answer was no.
So it's like you can't always change who you are in a moment, but you can change what's in the room,
You can design your environment before you even need the willpower.
which is a much more honest way to look at it. Stop blaming yourself and start looking at your setup.
There's something we haven't said yet, though, and I think it's the part people are least comfortable with.
Which is?
Most unhealthy habits, they're not laziness, they're coping.
Oh, yeah.
Stress eating, doom scrolling at midnight, staying up too late even when you're exhausted, these things are doing something for you emotionally.
The escalator videos were doing something for me.
They absolutely were.
I think I had a stressful afternoon and my brain just wanted to turn off. And YouTube made it very easy to do that.
Exactly. That's not a character problem. That's a human problem. You needed decompression, and that was the fastest available option.
And modern life makes it so easy to take those options. Everything is designed for maximum engagement.
There's actually a phrase for when you overcommit to too many things, burning the candle at both ends.
Oh, I know that one. Like you're exhausting yourself from two directions at once.
Right. A candle burns from one end. If it's lit from both ends, it burns twice as fast and runs out. When you're burning the candle at both ends, you're working too hard, sleeping too little, giving too much in every direction.
And when you're in that state, you don't have the resources to make great choices.
So, you grab whatever gets you through, and that's usually the thing that feels immediately good, not the thing that's good for you long term.
So the better question isn't, why can't I stop doing this? It's, what is this doing for me?
Yes, because once you understand the function of the habit, what need it's meeting, you can think about other ways to meet that need.
And sometimes even just acknowledging I scroll because I'm anxious, that changes something.
It removes the shame layer, and the shame is often what keeps people stuck.
So cutting back on, you'd say cut back on scrolling rather than stop completely.
Right. Cut back on means to reduce, to do less of something, not necessarily stop. I'm trying to cut back on caffeine. I've been cutting back on how late I stay up. It's gentler than quit.
which is more realistic for most people.
Much more, because you're not fighting the thing, you're just gently pulling back.
I used to think cut back on sounded like giving up, but it's actually just honesty.
It is. You're not pretending you'll never watch YouTube again at midnight.
I will definitely watch YouTube again at midnight, but maybe not escalators. Maybe something shorter.
Progress.
Here's something I've learned the hard way. The perfect routine always fails.
Say more.
Like every time I design the perfect system, I do it for 3 days and then I miss one day and I feel like the whole thing is ruined.
Be all or nothing thinking.
I either do the full hour workout or I don't go at all. And so I usually don't go at all.
A 10-minute walk that you actually do is better than an hour workout that you keep postponing.
Right, but it took me a really long time to accept that.
Because we've been taught that doing it right means doing it completely,
And anything less than that feels like failure.
which is where the word sustainable matters. Something sustainable is something you can keep doing over a long time. It doesn't break you. It doesn't require everything.
A sustainable habit is one that fits your actual life, not your ideal life.
Exactly. If the habit requires you to be a different person in different circumstances, it's probably not sustainable.
And moderation, that's the other word here. Doing things in reasonable amounts. Not too much, not too little.
Moderation doesn't mean mediocrity. It means balance.
I think for a long time, I saw moderation as kind of weak, like I should be more extreme.
A lot of people feel that, especially with health content. Everything is challenge and 30-day transformation.
And then you fail the challenge on day 8 and you feel like you're back to zero.
Which is also why the phrases stick to and get back on track matter so much.
Stick to, that's like staying consistent, right? Keeping at it.
Right. It's hard to stick to a routine when your schedule changes. It means not giving up even when it's inconvenient.
And get back on track, that's for when you've already fallen off.
Yes, like a train that's left the rails and you're finding the path again. I had a rough week, but I'm getting back on track. No drama, no reset countdown, just back.
I love that because the framing of I fell off implies you ruined something. But get back on track just implies, okay, you drifted, come back.
And the smaller the habit, the easier the comeback. If you've been doing 5 minutes of stretching every day and you miss 3 days, coming back is easy. If you've been doing an hour-and-a-half program,
The resistance is enormous.
small habits build something more important than fitness or health. They build self-trust.
That's a big one.
Every small commitment you keep is evidence to yourself that you can be relied on, and that compounds.
So it's not really about the habit, it's about what the habit says about you.
Over time, yes.
Okay, last piece, and I think this is the one that gets missed most.
Go ahead.
A lot of people, myself included, honestly, start healthy habits out of frustration with themselves. Like, I hate the way I feel. I need to fix this.
And that energy doesn't last.
It doesn't, because it's punishing energy. You're not taking care of yourself, you're punishing yourself into better behavior.
And punishment creates stress, and stress pushes you back toward the coping habits.
So it's like you're using the same fuel that caused the problem to try to fix the problem.
Exactly. You eat junk food because you're stressed. Then you feel bad about eating junk food, which stresses you out. And then,
Or junk food.
right, it's a loop.
So what's the alternative?
Health has to include something restorative. That's the word, restorative. Something that restores you, gives back what's been drained.
Not just remove the bad, but add something that replenishes.
A walk in nature, a real meal made with care, enough sleep, quiet time. These things aren't luxuries, they're maintenance.
I had a therapist once who said you can't pour from an empty cup, and I've heard it 100 times, but I actually felt it differently that day.
Because there's something almost mechanical about it, right? Like you can't run a car on no fuel and then blame the car.
Right, and we do that to ourselves constantly.
And here's the other word, resilient. When something is resilient, it can bend without breaking. It can absorb stress and come back.
Like a tree versus a statue.
I love that image, actually. A statue looks strong, but in a storm, it cracks. A tree bends, it moves, and it's still standing.
Resilience isn't hardness, it's flexibility.
And you build resilience through rest, through care, through sustainable habits, not through punishment.
Which means the goal was never to be more disciplined.
The goal is to be better cared for, and then discipline kind of follows naturally.
That shifts a lot of things for me.
Me too, when I really sat with it.
Oh, quick note. If you're thinking about the level of today's episode, this one is roughly B2.
You know, all this talk about habits reminds me of a friend of mine, Anna. She went through a really amazing transformation a few years ago, which means some of the vocabulary and expressions might have been challenging, but please don't stress about it. You don't need to understand every word to get a lot from this conversation.
Oh yeah? Tell me more. What was she like before? And we do have a word tour coming up at the end. We'll go through every key word from today, so if you miss something, it'll all be there.
Well, she was the classic burn the candle at both ends type. High-pressure job, always trying to keep up with everything. She'd get super motivated, create these intense workout plans, buy a bunch of healthy food, and then a week later, she'd be so exhausted that she'd crash and order pizza for 3 nights straight. It was a total boom and bust cycle. Okay, we want to ask you something, and we're going to answer it ourselves first so it doesn't feel like we're just putting it on you.
That sounds incredibly familiar. The cycle of intense effort and then complete burnout. So what changed for her? What was the turning point? The question is, what is one healthy habit you keep promising yourself and keep breaking up with?
It was a complete shift in mindset. She realized she was treating her health like a punishment, not a form of self-care. She was so focused on fixing what she hated about herself that she never stopped to think about what she actually enjoyed. So she stopped trying to force herself to go to the gym at 6 a.m. and instead started going for long walks in the evening while listening to her favorite podcasts. She stopped trying to eat a perfect diet and instead focused on adding more vegetables to the meals she already loved. Mine is morning pages, writing 3 pages of whatever's in my head first thing in the morning. I've started it 4 or 5 times. It always feels amazing. And then my schedule gets full or I sleep in and it just drifts.
That's a great way to think about it. It's not about making a huge, dramatic change overnight. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. It's like a snowball effect. You start with a small snowball, and as you roll it, it gets bigger and bigger. Mine is obvious at this point. Sleep. Every month, I decide I'm going to bed earlier, and every month I'm watching something ridiculous at midnight.
Escalators.
Among other things. What about you? Drop it in the comments. No judgment, we're all in it.
Okay, word tour time. Mike and I are going to go through every key vocabulary item from today's episode.
And as always, you can use these in the comment section. We'll come back to that at the end.
Intentional. Done on purpose, with awareness and choice. When you are intentional about something, you choose it deliberately, not by accident or habit. She started being intentional about how she spent her mornings, even if it was just 15 minutes of quiet time.
Being intentional doesn't mean being perfect. It just means choosing rather than drifting.
Repeat, intentional.
Determinal. Harmful, damaging, or working against you. If something is detrimental to your health or goals, it makes things worse. Sleeping with your phone next to your bed is detrimental to the quality of your sleep.
The constant pressure to be productive can be detrimental to your mental health over time.
Repeat, detrimental.
Burn the candle at both ends. It's an idiom. It means to exhaust yourself by working or doing too much, too hard, too long, with not enough rest. The image is a candle burning from both ends. It goes out twice as fast. She's been burning the candle at both ends, working full-time and studying at night. Something has to give.
I used to think burning the candle at both ends was impressive. Now I just think it's a warning sign.
Repeat. Burn the candle at both ends.
Cut back on. A phrasal verb meaning to reduce the amount of something. Gradually, not necessarily stop completely. I've been trying to cut back on caffeine. I'm down to 1 cup of coffee a day instead of 3.
Cutting back on screen time before bed has genuinely helped me fall asleep faster.
Repeat. Cut back on.
Sustainable. Something that can be maintained over a long period without burning out or breaking down. A sustainable habit is one that fits your real life. A sustainable exercise routine is one you'll actually stick to for months, not just days.
The goal isn't to be extreme. The goal is to find something sustainable.
Repeat. Sustainable.
Moderation. Doing things in a balanced, reasonable amount. Not too much, not too little. The opposite of all or nothing. Everything in moderation is a cliché, but it really does apply to healthy habits.
I used to see moderation as weakness. Now I think it's just honesty about how humans actually work.
Repeat. Moderation.
Stick to. A phrasal verb meaning to continue doing something consistently even when it's hard or inconvenient. To not give up. It's hard to stick to a routine when your schedule is unpredictable.
The key isn't finding the perfect habit. It's finding one small enough that you can actually stick to it.
Repeat. Stick to.
Get back on track. An idiom meaning to return to a plan, routine, or goal after a break or setback. No drama, just returning. I had a really difficult week and ate terribly. But Monday, I just got back on track. No punishment, no restart.
Getting back on track is much easier when the habit was small enough to not feel overwhelming.
Repeat. Get back on track.
Restorative. Something that restores or replenishes, that gives back energy, health, or calm after it has been used up. A long walk in the park can be more restorative than a nap, depending on the person.
Sleep is supposed to be restorative. When you don't get enough of it, nothing else quite compensates.
Repeat. Restorative.
Resilient. Able to recover from difficulty. A resilient person or system can bend under pressure without breaking and come back. Children are often more resilient than we give them credit for, especially when they feel safe.
Building resilience isn't about avoiding hard things. It's about learning you can survive them.
Repeat. Resilient.
And now, our favorite part. We want to invite you to write one sentence in the comments using any of today's words.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be about health. Just use the word in a way that feels real to you. I'm trying to cut back on. I want to be more intentional about anything.
We read every single comment, and honestly, watching people use these words, really use them in their own sentences, that's our favorite thing. So please, leave us one.
So if there's one thing from today,
Just one.
health is not a punishment plan. It's a care plan.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
You don't need to hate yourself into better habits. You need to be worth taking care of. And most people already believe that about everyone else, just not themselves.
So start small, start honest, and when you drift, and you will, we all do, just come back, gently.
No countdown, no fresh start Monday. Just back.
Take care of your English, and take care of your heart.
This is Mike,
And this is Sarah.
and you've been listening to the English Conversation Podcast.